yes, my Straight Dog family, it's long past the time when I should say good night to St. Kitts and Nevis, good night to the entire Eastern Caribbean region, and I should say good night to the world, because we are on the World Wide Web. We are reaching and touching you in all areas of the globe, in the Kittian and Division and Caribbean diaspora, in Asia, in Africa, in Europe, and of course, all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can't say good morning. I can also say good evening. And I will say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And to all the listeners that have Amazon Alexa Straight Talk can also be heard live. Just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio, and that's paid broadcasts for you. But a very pleasant night, my Straight Talk family, and welcome all to Straight Talk. And I must thank those who continue to share the link, because in the process we do get first timers. And for the first timers, I must tell you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express yourselves freely. On this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with the opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And as your host, I will hasten to pledge that I will remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness, as I always am reminded of the words of this hymn. I just love this excerpt. We are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and the right, standing firm for godly justice, bringing evil things to light. Let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Dog family, I can assure you that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program to make it more interesting, neither by omission nor by exaggeration. We are not about sensationalism or creating excitement, especially at the expense of accuracy, because we lean on the facts. So it's my duty to present the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, nothing but the truth, especially when it comes to governance in St. Kitts and Nevis. And this program joins us together with people all across our federation. Through this program, we are joined with people in the diaspora all around the world, my Straight Dog family. And some we know, some we met, and some we don't know, and many we will never meet. Some will agree, and some would disagree, but we advance the positions of truth. And some will disagree, and that's fine. We promote diversity. You're entitled to your view. But what will sadden me, my Straight Dog family, is if we start to become disagreeable. So let's thank Almighty God for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us therefore hope and pray for the day when we will all sing His praise together. So my Straight Talk family, especially the first timers, Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls and your emails. And if you're so minded to call, if you're so minded calling, the numbers are on your monitors, on your screens. And if you like the cloak of anonymity, you don't want to be heard, don't have the courage to speak up and be heard, we give you access via our email platform, and that email address is also on your monitor. One word, straighttalkpatches@gmail.com. And I must say a special welcome to the Straight Talk Junior Brigade. Young Dwayne, Tristan, Shamar, Kevin, Rue, Jamal, Travis, Travon, and to that special lady. Haven't heard you for some time, but you know, you're always on my mind. And we do have a thesis as well, as usual. And my thesis tonight I have titled Desperate Call for National Consultation After 59 Murders. So don't you move your link, my Straight Talk family, please. We do have our observations review, which are an integral part of our program as well. After which we move into my thesis. And on this program, we promote and allow full participation, so you get an opportunity as well to have your say. And our observations in review are a very integral part of our program, and we reflect on the things we have raised before, we follow up, and we ask questions. And most of all, we try to establish what we have learned as a people. And our first observation, my Straight Talk family, I must note that over the past week, Straight Talk has observed a 360-degree turnaround in the position of Prime Minister July as it pertains to the concept of continuous government. The July Labour administration has foolishly discarded several projects that were already approved by the Team Unity administration, one of which is the New Bastia High School. The July administration has abandoned this shovel-ready project and literally, I said, they have thrown away over $20 million of the people's money. Although the architectural designs and environmental and impact assessment was completed, and the project was already approved by the Development Control and Planning Board. Scientific advice, however, was overridden. Hear me. Scientific advice was overridden by gutter politics. And this is sad in the 21st century. Because remember, trained hydrogeologist Cromwell Williams, who is currently the manager and water engineer, who is the chief advisor of this administration on water, Williams had this to say about the site selected for the Bastia High School.
I advised the government that the siting of the new Bastia High School at the said location at Ponds Estate does not pose a threat or danger to our potable water supply, I did so. I advised the government New Bastia High School at the said location at Ponds Estate does not pose a threat or danger to our potable water supply,
that was
I
coming
I did so without any reservation or doubt.
From the water engineer. I'm not certain if you've heard that, because I haven't heard that myself in my headset. But the advice of the manager and water engineer was, as I said, overridden by the politics. But just last week, my Straight Dog family, just last week, Prime Minister July all of a sudden concurred. All of a sudden, my Straight Dog family, Prime Minister July seemed to have concurred with the concept that government is continuous.
People, just like the CBI, that the government is continuous. So just like you approve the citizens, the CORs for the prison project, there are things that obligate me because the government is continuous. Government does not change in our system. What changes is the administration.
And yes, my Straight Dog family, so we asked the question, if government is continuous, if government is continuous, why was the Bastille High School, or the site for the Bastille High School, changed? And that's a straightforward question we must ask ourselves. Now, our second observation, my Straight Dog family, has to do with the song and dance about payment of the pension to former any workers, that's non-established workers, we styled government auxiliary employers. And this was promised by the second Prime Minister Douglas, since way back, I believe, in 2010 or 2011, almost 14 years ago. I note that payments are made effective from January 2024. But many workers have raised serious concerns about the calculation done on their payments. And I'm doing some investigation on this issue, myself, my Straight Dog family, and we will revert with more information whenever such information comes to hand. Now, in the meantime though, there are some workers at the Frigate Bay Development Corporation, some of whom have put in 40 and in one case I understand 50 years to make the Frigate Bay, or to make Frigate Bay what it is today. For those who may not know, that Frigate Bay was acquired in 1973, I think it was, by the then Bradshaw administration, and made into what it is today. And Straight Talk has learned that the monies generated by the corporation over the years went to building up the craft house. And recall over $54 million of the Frigate Bay Development Corporation's money went into La Valley Golf Course. Now, my Straight Dog family, La Valley Golf Course contract, or the contract for the La Valley Golf Course, was signed on behalf of the Frigate Bay Development Corporation by then Minister, we call him Gada. But there's no golf course And many have asked about the disposition of the money. Where is the money? And recall, and I must remind you, when asked, Gada had this response, my Straight Talk family.
Apparently, he wants me to explain to the nation why I, as a minister, signed an agreement. Well, it seems as though he wants me to explain why I signed. I'm told that he said he's not accusing anybody of bubble, but that he was just asking, where's the money? That's what I'm told, right? And I don't remember. But let me say what I have to say. I'm not saying it didn't happen.
My Straight Talk family, that was a Reagan. But, however, my Straight Talk family, the sad news is there is no money at the Frigate Bay Development Corporation to pay these poor loyal workers their pension. How could this happen, my Straight Talk family? How could this happen in this era? How could this happen under a Labour Party, my Straight Talk family, that came from the bowels of the ordinary workers in St. Kitts? Straight Talk will keep you posted, nonetheless, my Straight Talk family, excuse me, of this injustice which has just come to light. We will keep you posted on this injustice as it relates to the pension that is owed to all these workers at the Frigate Bay Development Corporation. We will keep you posted on this breaking news. And finally, I bring you some good news, nonetheless, my Straight Talk family. I bring you some good news. For one lady, a few weeks ago, was unceremoniously, like so many others, kicked off the poverty alleviation program, now called LIFT. And that lady had the courage to speak out and Straight Talk expose the plight of this poor woman. Remember, we told you this, my Straight Talk family.
They turned me away from my job, right? And 3 months later, they said they thought they take away $500. And when I go and I asked them, they said I'm on the threshold. So I want to know what it means. In February, March, they stopped me from working. And then now in June, they take away the $500 from me. They say I'm on the threshold.
The sad news is
they call me week before and ask me. Then ask me who live in the house with me. I said my sister. I said she only work a job. So that's difficult. I have paid the electricity and the cable bill. She don't have any benefits in me to do it.
But my Straight Talk family, Straight Talk learned that this lady or her monies, or she was reinstated on the PAP program. And she called me today to express her gratitude for making her story public. And she said this to me, my Straight Talk family.
They call me and so you make it public, and they give me the money from last week. So, and I thank the Patrick very much for helping me. They called me, I went to them twice, and they called me and they now when I reach When I went to the bank, I started giving me the money, and so I said, Patrick, went on Patrick's show, and they gave me the money, and I thank him very much for giving me to I put it on the radio. Thanks very much.
Now, many of you, my Straight Dog family, need the courage like this poor lady to speak out against the many, many injustices, the plethora of injustices, I call it, being meted out against the poor and downtrodden by this July Labour administration. But I'm happy that this lady got her matters straightened out. And we here at Straight Talk will expose them. Just give us the information. Do not be afraid to speak. You have a constitution. We have a constitution that guarantees our fundamental rights and freedoms. And one of them is the freedom of speech. And those are my observations in review for tonight, my Straight Dog family. And we move right into our thesis, which I said earlier is titled Desperate Call for National Consultation After 59 Murders. Yes, desperate call for national consultation after 59 murders. My Straight Dog family, the recent spate of murders has ignited a call from our incompetent leader for a national consultation on crime, and which is a failed strategy that's been reintroduced, having failed some 16 years ago by the Labour Party. Yes, 16 years ago, then Prime Minister Denzel Douglas held this consultation on crime, or as the headlines suggest, crime consultation, on December the 12th, to be exact, 2008. And that uncovered no real solutions to the problems that still exists today, my Straight Dog family. The Federation was reeling from 23 murders, my Straight Dog family. 23 murders back then in 2008, which peaked at 36 murders 3 years later. In 2009, my Straight Dog family, even after the national consultation, the murder rate continued to climb, and the loss of 4 lives in 1 week really rocked the nation back then, my Straight Dog family. Back then, it rocked the nation.
An emergency meeting with the High Command of our nation's security forces was called today, and the Cabinet received a report on the developments surrounding the loss of these 4 young men. Our intelligence indicated several months ago that the root cause of the homicides in this country that have been causing this federation so much concern is in fact gang-based. Upon assuming the national security portfolio a few months ago, I immediately instructed that the security forces be fully mobilized forthwith to implement those aspects of their strategic plan that are specifically geared to gang-related crimes.
And my straight talk family, the Douglas Labor administration sought the help of the FBI and later hired a gang specialist. My straight talk family.
We arranged for a gang crime specialist to serve as an advisor to the Ministry of National Security. Not to mention as well the important national consultation that we held on crime, and from which gang-related criminal activity was the main concern.
And my straight talk family, even with the specialists, the situation on the ground in our various communities hardly changed. Now, some 15 years thereafter, my straight talk family, some 15 years thereafter, ask yourselves a question. 3 murders in 4 days. Aren't this the same political display being introduced by Dr. July, my straight talk family? He introduced this.
I have directed that the Ministry of National Security to begin preparations to host a national consultation on crime and violence, among other crime-fighting initiatives. National Consultation on Crime will invite all political organizations, all civil society organizations, and anyone who cares about this federation to come to the table to provide their ideas and plans for us to end this decades-long scourge of violent crime.
My straight talk family, this same old labor strategy will fail because the public consultation will not pave the way for reconciliation, truth, and crime reduction. So it is understandable for anyone to feel skeptical about any national consultation on crime, because the past efforts seemed more like a political theater and had no substantive action. What we are seeing under this administration is an alarming rate of unnatural death or premature end to life, which is happening in one of 3 ways: fatal accidents. And my straight talk family, we had a fatal accident just Wednesday last week, my straight talk family. And that's one of the 3 ways. Suicide is reported from time to time, but it is the prevalence of murders that have become so widespread across the communities in St. Kitts Nevis. The latest one being Sandra Roberts, who was always full of life, but who suffered an unnatural death that rocked the Federation last Tuesday night. Gunned down in a hail of bullets to her head and other parts of her body, my straight talk family. But Sandra will be remembered for who she was. But these brutal murders have put us back on that path to becoming once again the murder capital of the world. An achievement, my Straight Dog family, that we can never be proud of. But a stark reminder that the July administration failed to guarantee the safety and security of our federation. So condolences are again extended to all who have lost loved ones in these circumstances. Circumstances that have prompted a call for public consultations that would not benefit us as a country where peace abounds unless they are structured to pave the way for the start of truth, reconciliation, and a healing process, my Straight Dog family. But this cannot be expected under this July administration. You know, my Straight Dog family, it saddened me when I heard the Crime Minister, and I want to be clear and let you know that Terence Michael July is the minister who is responsible for crime. So we can accurately state that he is the crime minister, but he's also the prime minister. But each time he makes a national address, he is introduced with the singing or playing of our national anthem. And the same goes for the end. In the first and second verses of our national anthem, we sing lustily, "For God in all our struggles, St. Kitts and Nevis be." We also sing, no sword nor spear can conquer, for God will show defend. Our national symbol invokes the name of God, my God, your God, our God. Yet, our Prime Minister Terence Michael July could stand before the nation and speak such nonsense about our tried and tested alternative lifestyle program, or peace program as it is well known. When he said this, my Straight Dog family, how can he stand before the nation and say something like this?
We have a serious gun problem in our society. This societal ill, reflected throughout the region, has been serious for us for at least 2 decades now. But it has worsened because of the introduction of money into the equation. Not only do the gangs have numerous members, but because of the ill-advised peace program, they have significant amounts of money used to buy influence and dangerous sophisticated weapons which are used to carry out heinous acts. That is why the focus in our National Security Council meeting earlier today was suppression. Suppression in preventing the inception of crime or preventing expansion of criminal activity.
Our Prime Minister, July, moved very early to dismantle the peace program. And we are seeing the results of his ill-advised actions today. In 1 week, short of 2 years, under July, the Federation has recorded 59 murders, my Straight Dog family. Dr. July is a Muslim, I heard. But didn't he learn that blessed are the peacemakers because they will be called sons of God? Read in the book of Matthew. Blessed are the peacemakers, Dr. July, because they will be called sons of God. In St. Kitts, Nevis, that was ugly with violence, hatred, and murder, the warring factions of the at-risk youth in the nation became their own peacemakers. The warring factions became their own peacemakers, my Straight Talk family.
Something unusual happened. These factions that were warring in the society approached the police, and they basically stated that they wanted to stop the violence amongst themselves, their communities, etc. They wanted us to help them to turn over a new leaf, to try and become far more useful persons as far as the society is concerned. And this to me was a very unusual thing, right? Extremely unusual. It's not something that I had, for argument's sake, experienced before. Conflicts are not normally resolved. These sort of conflicts amongst warring parties are not normally resolved by police involvement or intimate police involvement. Right? And as a result of that, if it was not happening in front of my eyes, so to speak, I perhaps would not have believed what I was hearing and actually experiencing at the time.
The structured initiative started officially in 2019, my Straight Talk family, 2019. As bad as things may have seemed, the team unity leaders must be applauded for recognizing that this is the only St. Kitts Nevis that we have. And if we are going to be true to our country, ourselves, our children, and generations to come, then we must be peacemakers. With peace in mind, my Straight Talk family, with peace in mind, Team Unity, led by our third Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Sylvester Harris, created the Alternative Life Paths Program, or the Peace Program as it is known, my Straight Talk family.
We created alternative life pathway programs for at-risk individuals, providing them opportunities and support to pursue their responsibility for a better and safer future. The Peace Program, though new and imperfect, worked and delivered unprecedented peace and tranquility across all communities. Without peace in any society, there will be no progress.
My Straight Talk family, growing up, we learned that peace in the Bible is always based on justice and righteousness. Where justice prevails and righteousness rules, there you will also have peace. But without those two virtues, lasting peace is not possible. And that is the problem we face with our current leaders in government. Apart from not having a plan to deal with crime and violence in our land, our Prime Minister is a compulsive liar, my Straight Talk family.
The Minister with responsibility for crime has presented no effective plan. Our Minister responsible for crime engendered no goodwill in his speech. Indeed, many have said that his speech was not coherent and it was laced with malicious untruths and a lack of transparency. He cannot in one breath say untruthfully that the participants in the peace program used money to arm themselves, and while his administration continues to pay them and has no organized program for these participants.
And when you listen to the nonsense peddled by the Prime Minister July, how can anyone, my Straight Dog family, how can anyone, any right-thinking person be part of any consultation led by this clueless leader? One participant from the peace program did not mince words when referring to the Prime Minister July. And he said this, my Straight Dog family.
I want to ask July something. So people are there thinking before the peace program. how much used to dead a year before the peace program under Labour? Why do you come like these at guns? How much people used to dead as sing kids before the peace program a year? The peace program come and the peace program lessen it. You come back here now and the same bullshit start again. People start to drop like flies by blaming the peace program. I don't tell you, real killers not join the peace program. I need to teach July some sense.
My Straight Talk family, the crime minister is a morally unprincipled person who constantly lies to the people of this country. When one considers the deep division that the crime minister has created in the country, along with the total disrespect, my Straight Talk family, along with the total disrespect he has shown for the poor people and the at-risk youth, our prime minister, or our third prime minister, I should say, my Straight Talk family, could not have said it better when he said this, my Straight Talk family. When he said this.
He has disrespected the participants on the peace program, yet they are the key players in any resolution of the dangerous crime situation in our country. When will he learn that you cannot reprobate and appropriate at the same time?
My Straight Talk family, my learned friend, or my learned King's Council friend, never told me about the doctrine of approbate and reprobate. But Dr. July has blown hot and cold in taking a stance on so many issues, and crime is no exception. Dr. July, as our leader, must get familiar, as I did, with the Latin maxim or fundamental principle, quod approbo non reprobo, which translates to or simply means that which I approve, I cannot disapprove. No one can praise and criticize at the same time. But let us do some reflection, my Straight Talk family. We marched and rallied in 2009 to sensitize the nation to the urgent need to condemn, crime and violence in our society. Our leaders back then shook hands, my Straight Talk family. Our leaders shook hands. But that was just a show, a photo op, as things went back to normal in just a few hours, my Straight Talk family. Every one of us must therefore be skeptical about this proposed national consultation on crime, especially because past efforts under a Labour government seem more like political theatre rather than substantive action. Limiting any consultation to crime alone, by the way, overlooks other critical areas that impact the socio-economic fabric and governance of the country. For that reason, there must be an expanded approach to national consultations, incorporating discussions on justice reform, our citizenship by investment program, and overseas voter participation in our elections. Firstly, justice reform is essential, my Straight Talk family, for enhancing the effectiveness and fairness of the legal system, my Straight Talk family, which is politicized.
The criminal justice system has been overly politicized. I'm advised that the criminal session has been abruptly suspended and many jurors feel intimidated. yet not a single word from the deceptive administration on this very serious development.
My Straight Talk family, the word on the street about a juror being shot should not be a state secret. So too the suspension, we are told, of the criminal assizes. These matters must not be secret. We are trying to get information, and it's like pulling your wisdom tooth. Access to legal representation and the need for modernized legal frameworks are concerns that need to be addressed through inclusive consultations, which can only lead to reforms that uphold the rule of law and improve public confidence in the judicial system. Secondly, our system, or our citizenship, rather, by investment program, has become a significant aspect of the nation's economic strategy. While it has generated substantial revenue, matters of security have been raised by the United States of America, Canada, the United Kingdom, and the EU, the European Union. Concerns about its impact on national identity and social cohesion have also been raised. The lack of transparency surrounding our CBI program must be addressed. It is troubling, my Straight Dog family, that the Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin calls a project a scam, yet tries to block disclosure on this project. This must be a crooked Attorney General, my Straight Dog family. Has to be.
The St. Kitts government attempted to have the case thrown out. Last week, that decision was overruled, and the courts have allowed the case to continue. And so my understanding is that some of the information that MSR has as to the unlawful acts of government will now be made public very soon.
That judicial review case is scheduled to begin in October. For the DBS News World, I am Zaid Romulus.
My Straight Dog family, so by broadening consultations to include this topic on CBI, stakeholders can explore the balance between economic benefits and potential risks, thus ensuring that the program aligns with the nation's long-term interests. Lastly, overseas voter participation is a growing issue that needs to be given attention in St. Kitts Nevis. Many citizens residing abroad, and the method of engaging with our local political processes raises questions, my Straight Dog family. We cannot dispute that. And these questions ought to be addressed by expanding national consultations to focus on the needs and rights of overseas voters in order to enhance democratic participation and representation while ensuring that the voices of all citizens are heard regardless of their location. Dr. July, he told us that the number of economic citizens from Russia, China, and all over the world, he didn't tell us that, but we know where they're from. But he told us that they account for more than 50,000 passports my Straight Dog family issued already. He told us this.
Speaker, I can say we are over 50,000 of passports issued. The number of passports issued is possibly as much as the population at this particular time, or could be a little higher. You have to tell the truth. The people deserve to know the truth. It is a hard truth, but it is the truth. The mismanagement of the program has seen us today have more citizens, very likely more citizens by investment, in our own population here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
My Stray Dog family, the population in St. Kitts and Nevis is just over 50,000. Straight Talk was reliably informed that the last census figures for some unknown reason has not been released. But how many of us are aware that 51,000 persons are registered on the voters list? Something must be wrong, don't you think? 51,000 persons registered on the voters list. Our population is just about the same. So in conclusion, my Stray Dog family, broadening the scope of national consultations in St. Kitts Nevis to include justice, citizenship by investment, and overseas voter participation is crucial for fostering a more inclusive and effective governance framework. We need to push for transparent processes, clear communication, and accountability measures, ensuring that there are robust systems for evaluating and responding to crime and involving community input can help restore confidence in how issues are being tackled. Such an approach, my Stray Dog family, will not only address immediate concerns, but will also strengthen the nation's democratic and social institutions in the long run, not a desperate call for national consultation after 59 murders. That's my story tonight, my Stray Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails, my Stray Dog family. And if you're so minded to call, the numbers are again listed on your monitors, on your screens. 663-6672 is the local line. And my Stray Dog family, 646-829-6672. And our email contact, our email address is also listed. And my Stray Dog family, I always like to implore you, as I open the lines in a few moments, momentarily, respect others, and of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us, my Stray Dog family, ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and or doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, we go to the lines and say, caller, you're live.
Good evening, Mr. Liebert.
Good evening, my dear.
The quotation, leadership is about taking responsibility, not making mistakes, not making excuses. I repeat, leadership is about taking responsibility, not making excuses. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening, my dear. Not making excuses. We go back to the lines. Are you there, caller? Are you there, caller? Are you there, caller? Okay, we seem to have missed that call. Let's go back to the line. Thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live.
Yes. As I said before, good night to everyone who are listening to the most informative, educational, inspirational information to the world and all its citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. Patches, I have to ask you this question. In respect to the peace program that was put in action by Team Unity. Can you actually explain? Because a lot of people do not understand what this peace program was all about. I personally had my own understanding, which I had felt disagree with in certain circumstances. But if you could explain to us and hit the nail on the head once and for all, that everyone will understand what it was all about, because it has been condemned. It has been, a lot of negativity has been raised about it. So if you could do that for me and others who are listening, for us to get an understanding of what it was all about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll do that for you. Let me just dispense of some calls. Are you there, caller?
Ted.
How are you, my lord?
Well, I'm here. I'm so fine and wonderful tonight. That is, you all right?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
All right, my patches. Somebody, I was talking to somebody this week and last week. They say I mustn't to be hard on you, so I am not going to be hard on you.
Hard on me.
They say I must not be hard on you. So I'm going to ask you a question, Mr. Patel. Will you please, what is the function of NAC? The function of NAC. What is the function of NAC? You could really tell me when I go up the line. So now I am going to read. Hold on, Mr. Patel. I am going to read Psalm 37. Hold on.
Fret not thyself.
Hello?
You there?
Yeah. I am here.
Yes, Psalm 37 you said.
Psalm 37.
Fret not thyself.
Yeah.
Right.
Fret not thyself because of evildoers. Neither be envious against the worker of iniquity. For the soon shall cut down like a grass, and wither as a green herb. Trust also in the Lord, and do good. Thou shalt be well fed in the land. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give you the desire of thy heart. Verse 5. Commit thyself unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. He shall bring forth the righteous as righteous and light, and the righteous and righteousness as light, and thy judgment at noonday. Rest patient in the Lord. Rest in the Lord. And fret not with patience, and wait patiently for him. And fret not thyself, because that man could bring wicked devices to pass. Now, Patrick, I want, and so you will tell me what I told you just now. But as I am going to tell you something that the Lord is good in here, Mr. Patel. the Lord is wonderful. And if I tell you something, I will not tell you happy an ear, but I want to know what is the function of NAC to the poor people. Why NAC is there? I want to know. So please tell me. See you, Mr. Patel.
Thank you very much. Well, NHC in a nutshell, as per the legislation, it's one of its functions is to provide housing, and the legislation says this quite clearly for the poor and indigent. How they do it is another question, but they are mandated by the NHC Act. I think it's called National Housing Corporation Act, to, amongst other functions, but I think most importantly, to provide housing for the poor and the indigent. And someone asks about the peace program. And in a nutshell, the peace program did not come from the politician. It came from these at-risk youth, at-risk sector, a group rather, in our communities, and they approached the police and wanted to, as I played a clip earlier, these warring factions wanted to put down their guns and stop this senseless killing. And this program was set up, and they got into they became productive citizens. Like I said, some got into businesses. There's a farmers co-op, some went into rentals, some went into landscaping, and the list goes on. And I hope I have this soundbite right, but if I don't have this right, I'll play the right one. But this is, in a nutshell, what the former NSA said about the peace program. Point was paying the gangs when in fact they have this approval. Just trying to clarify that.
Well, I am not too sure what they are thinking of when they're talking about paying the gangs, because perhaps I should make it quite clear from the very outset that as far as this particular initiative that I am responsible for executing, so to speak, is concerned, there are no payments being made to gangs. There are no payments for guns. And there are no transactions that have not been properly costed and approved. Right? So when people receive payments, they are receiving payments for something that has been costed, approved, and verified as having been done to a satisfactory standard.
For example, I've heard there's a cooperative, for example, in a particular area like Kearney. That's what you're referring to?
Yeah, yes, there is that particular project that is going on over in Kearney. And there are a number of other things. People
And that's what the peace program was about in a nutshell. But here it is. Let's go back to the lines in the meanwhile and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Patches. Good night, Patches.
Good night, my lord. How art thou?
Oh, thou art great, man. After 59, what are we going to get? 60 murdered people cannot be right. You hear that?
Yes.
That is too many. Too many. Good night, brother Straight Talk, and all who listens to this program. Patches, thank God for you, Ian, the great Patches Loibud. A citizen who concerned about his country. Thank God for you. You're not condoning any wrong. Like a lot of people, every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, whenever they choose to worship God in church, they go to it. But yet still, they're hugging up the people who are doing wrong to the country and the citizens. So so openly. Oh my God, what are they going to church for? People supposed to go in the church building to worship God. And when they leave in there, they come out. They serve, not go in, a dirty devil, and they come out a muddy hypocrite, Satan. They better get their act together. Because what is happening to this country here blatantly, so obvious, that even who ain't watching can see what's going on with this treasury sukunya, rape the treasury, not being friendly with the treasury. Take away what the needy depends on monthly. But because of straight talk, and you expose the wrong what they're doing, and you applaud the right what they're doing. You see that? They went and called back the lady. The lady who spoke out on straight talk, the shame, they had to go back forward. Thank God for you. And thank God for all who send in email and all who let the voices be heard and straight talk. We ain't gonna stop. You ain't gonna radio station, but the message are getting out where it's supposed to go to all the people them. It's only to one thing we're waiting for now. Those two parliamentarians who get elected and they are on the opposition side. We need you all to get up and let us demonstrate. The one from number 5, you could start from St. Paul's, go back to New Sunny Point and come tongue in your own way. And the one from number 7, start from Deep Bay, come east, go tongue, with whatever numbers you all get to demonstrate. That is what needed. Talking is enough. We need action. Patches, I will come back with something else. Thank you so long.
Thank you very much. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you are live.
Mr. Straight Talk.
How are you, my...
What can I say, Mr. Straight Talk? Abracadabra.
Abracadabra.
Mr. Straight Talk, that's how I'm going to introduce you now until the day I die. Mr. Straight Talk, what is wrong with you? You make people laugh. You make, even when they're sad, they still, but at the end they say, well, you know what? I just listened to this program and I listened to this thing last week. And Mr. Straight Talk, I was laughing because here you coming back now with abracadabra. And I say, you know what? That's how I'm going to hate from now until the day I die. As long as you have Straight Talk, your name going to be abracadabra.
Abracadabra, yes, man.
Abracadabra. It was so funny. Tunka comes Sadlers with a show, and then when he come, we enjoy it. But then they bring a guy with Tunka to dance and grass battle. You ever heard of him?
Oh yes, of course. Well, Tunka's...
Well, what happened? See, a guy got the grass battle in the bag, and he start mashing it up. So we think, well, he gonna throw it out underground. I can't remember what happened. But this drunken guy come, Mr. Straight Talk, and when he come, he said, "Look, you think you can't? What you do? I can't do it." That guy jump on the grass battle and start dancing. You know, right away the show done. Because we pay to see this guy do have a show with Tunka, and now look what our one guy doing. So right away Tunka never come back Sadlers again.
No.
No, he never come back. That's the only time I always see Tunka, and everybody was glad to see Tunka magic show. More abracadabra, but then the next guy that he bring up with him say, well, this is the kind of thing he do. I don't know where that guy go today, inside he die or something, but they say he was a glass battle dancer. When now our guy come from Sadler start dancing, and his name was Strike. The guy junk. The guy start dancing on all those glass battle. Never get a cut. Right away, man said, no, give back our money. Dance was busted. You ask anybody about that thing that happened that night. No more show went on. So, Mr. Straight Talk, you're doing a wonderful job. I didn't hear about that thing, the CBI money. I tell you to check it out for me because they said that copy price and now they bring it back down. So I don't know. So that was for your homework, but I see you didn't get to check it, so that's all right. But Mr. Strater, the people,
what was the homework?
I do believe that the CBI money.
It was reduced.
So it's true.
Yeah, it is true. They reduced it. What was it again? From 300 to 250. I'll get that figure before the program is done. I thought I reduced
okay.
Yeah, it was reduced.
Okay, thank you, because I listened you attentively last week there, and I haven't hear you says nothing, so I says, you know what, I'm just going to leave it alone because you didn't says nothing about it, but I just want to let you know that I thank you for what you are doing. So I think last week my brother was telling me that this young girl was on the bus, and this girl come in the bus, and the man just start peppering that girl. You see who are you vote for? And she was so ashamed. She started saying, me, Mr. Me no vote. And he said the girl can't believe what she hearing. So the people are listening, and them are walk behind the scene. No, you see what they do with Joe Bite me? They throw him out now. Everybody says, look, something went wrong with the 20 election, but everybody said, no. You see what happened? This man stay in his basement and campaign and win an election. No go out on the street and he win an election in his basement. So I see same thing going on with King Lawyer. You think that they are doing a good job, but the people are secretly watching. So, good night, my niece there in St. Louis. Good night, Texas Queen. And good night to my brother there in Bellevue and his son there, George with Alvin. And Brother Straight Talk, you just take care of Brother Culture. Mr. Straight Talk, abracadabra. See you soon.
I see you, my dear brother. Thanks a lot for your intervention. Blessed love, Mr. Straight Talk. The last episode you brought, enough of the abracadabra cabinet. But first thing first, Mr. Straight Talk, with the title, enough of the abracadabra cabinet. I was wondering if it is a fairy tale talk you were coming with. And when you mentioned, say when you was a little boy, Tunka used to do magic and let woman lay golden egg. But after now deep down in the show, when you broke down everything about the wrong things the St. Kitts and Nevis Reds Labour Party are doing, it took a big abracadabra to save them from winning back the people's trust, who they fail so badly, and you were very on point. Real talk, Mr. Patches, and me and my friend will use the abracadabra as a slang. Laugh out loud and tears of joy reads this email. Wow, this is a long mail here. The Bible says, the thief comes and not but to steal, kill, and destroy. And that is what the Jew administration continues to do to the people of St. Kitts, Nevis. Instead of making life better and allowing for peace and safety, then comes sudden destruction. I am not a mathematician, but in my final year of high school, I was one of the 10 students in the group, 1 for maths. Class 7 boys, 3 girls. And I wasn't the best mathematics student, but sometimes did better than the maths wizard of the group, and being one of the 3 girls who sometimes hit the boys asunder. Another big thing, I'm grateful to God to reach thus far, and not boastful, but disappointed when teachers see your potential to set you back. Anyway, you don't have to reach that far to be a wizard yourself, but great with numbers and be just good or more. The good government thinks there are some people out here, read, hear, and see things, and gonna be all silent and should be silent, but a closed mouth is a closed destiny, and they are diligently robbing us of our destiny and the resources that belong to us. Think of the PAP and LIFT programs. PAP equal 1,400 people at $500 $500 per month reduced to lift 700 people at $250 per month. So tell me where that money gone. Peace equal 1,000 persons at $750 per week. Reduce Elevate equal 500 persons at $500 per week. So where that money gone? Nothing is really wrong. What is wrong with these programs is a reduction in the amount of people and the payments which have resulted in starvation, rising commercial or communicable diseases, deaths, stress, cutting up electricity and water services from many homes, inability to pay for the supplements and medications, high begging and stealing rate higher, dependency on government and community services, etc. In reference to the peace program especially, high murder rates, stealing, lying and hide and seek rate, hiding from people you owe, as well as hunting down people who owe you, loss of small and even large businesses, inability to pay mortgages, partner hand payments, purchase and repair of equipment, etc. Many may speak of the advantages and disadvantages, but if you are in partnership or working for someone via some of these programs, make sure you all are paying Social Security in case of old age and any illness and any other benefits. Some are not paying it but want out of it. Not fair for the Social Security reserve and benefits. Some may be focusing on more of wants rather than needs, and priorities just fall into debt. Inability to pay bills, not eating properly, child support, purchasing high-cost equipment, ammunition, clothing, hair, accessories, makeup, and the list goes on. I call on the government to do due diligence and deeply look into these programs and increase the number of recipients at least at the rate that they have the payments now. People are out there suffering, and as a proud someone are there, as a proud some are, they may not be coming begging, not quite clear, or asking for help. If I am on a program that was beneficial of some help to me, I am gonna become desperate, and desperate people do desperate things. Don't tell me that every pan knock, every jam session, every tropics, wet fit, you are there, not everyone going. We all have wants, needs, and priorities, and we as LL need to set out priorities straight with this email. A very long email. My Straight Talk family, it's 9:25. You may have joined me late. And for those who joined me late, we introduce our thesis for tonight, which we titled Desperate Call for National Consultation After 59 Murders. I'll take this other email. Good evening, Patches. More boards, more termites, more corruption, more hardship, more struggles, and disgrace for St. Kitts and Nevis. All Dr. Jew and Labour famous for. Since getting into office in 2022, they can't get one project done. Doing a million things, and all of them can't add up to one. Patches, where are the smart houses? Is a man Singh in prison for true? Patches, here is the... Now, that is why the disgrace age is saying the houses for the bankable. Patches, we have some serious frauds and corruption in this government. Labour is a corrupt government. Let's go back to the lines. Caller. Hello, caller. You're live. Thank you for holding. Hello.
Mr. Leiber, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you, sir?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Great. I am here. I'm good. Last week, I think it was Thursday, I want to make sure what I heard you said. How many murders you said Joe met for the year that he became Prime Minister?
He met two in August.
And how many you say he added?
8.
Okay. You think that was a responsible statement?
If it is, it's a fact.
That he added 8?
Under his watch as Minister of National Security, there were 8 murders between August and December.
All right. So if he added 8, your terminology, if he added 8, why aren't the security forces going to arrest him?
What is the point, though? I'll make the point. The question now become from me.
The point is, sir, the irresponsible commentary from politicians, especially when they're in opposition. I think it was a very irresponsible statement.
But that is what Straight Talk is about. You have your view, and others have their view. What I'm saying that
exactly, and that is my view.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah. You are familiar with the president of El Salvador?
No, tell me about him.
You know his name?
No. Tell me about him.
I think, if I recall rightly, I think his name is Nayib Bukele, something like that. I want to believe he was elected in 2019, somewhere around there. And we are aware that El Salvador was one of the worst gang-infested country around. And the president decided that he was not going to tolerate, he was not going to suppress, but he was going to eradicate the gang. And as of today, he is lauded for doing an excellent job. He didn't pay the gang. He didn't pay the gang members. He didn't cuddle. He didn't cajole. He didn't make excuses for the gang. You know what the president did and what he said? Any gang member or anybody seen and is affiliated with the gang, we are going to take care of you. And he did. They took them off the streets, and as of today, El Salvador is a much safer place for that president taking the problem by the balls and stamping down on the drug situation in his country. But what I find happening around here, everybody seems to be profiting. When I say everybody, I use that in inverted commas, there are a lot of people who are profiting from this gang and gun culture. I guess it's from the politicians to the pastors, because I heard you say on this program that at least 2 pastors have been or are still being paid to be part of this whatever this board or what.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
In 2019, the murder count was up at I think it's 29 or 28, right? When this was introduced. When the peace program, the alternative lifestyle program was introduced. And I don't know where you're living. I don't know if you care to tell us where you're living, whether in Newtown? Newtown?
I live in Newtown. You know what you're talking to, Patches.
I'm not certain. So
you can dox me. You can dox me. I'm living in Newtown. You can call my name. You know who I am.
Fine. Okay. And if you're living in Newtown, there was a time when people couldn't come from the pasture and come down to George Street and vice versa. People couldn't go down to West. And you're saying that had changed under the peace program. And you're saying that was that a good thing?
So, my point is, why when criminals go and do their criminality, why do we blame the Prime Minister, whichever sitting Prime Minister there is? Prime Minister,
they have a duty to keep us safe. That is his duty.
The police, the law agencies. How come you're not blaming the police? How come you're not blaming the army?
But you
see, is the political football and the political gain saying that we do, and then again, why do we, every prime minister in and there is a murder, we tend to disrespect, and it's only in our country we tend to do this. I think, the crime.
You seem to want to have extrajudicial killings here, like they did in places like El Salvador. That is what you want in St. Kitts?
What we want is for peace to abound. We want the law agencies to stop cajoling and cuddling and being in bed and loving with these criminals. And not the Prime Minister said in his speech, suppression, and I say eradication, whatever it takes. Malcolm X said when they were fighting for their rights, the black people in America, said by any means necessary. We like to quote Malcolm X when we're thinking by any means necessary. I think he said whether by the ballot or by the bullet, and we quote that. But when it is for us, to gain political advantage and political mileage, we talk about, we want to cuddle and say, these are people to give them a second. The criminals, the gang members who are killing each other, they are the ones who place themselves in that situation. We got to become more matured as adults and politicians and commentators and stop blaming whoever sitting prime minister and calling them crime minister and blaming them.
But he's the minister responsible for crime. Is he the minister responsible for crime? He's the crime minister. But anyway, I think it took a lot of time. No, please. I'll give you 10 seconds because I have other calls waiting. Give 10 seconds, make your point.
How many rapes is he with the prime minister, whichever prime minister, while in their term? How many rapes are they responsible for?
The rest questions on this call will come from this side of the mic.
Okay. You have yourself a good mind. You need to be more. You need to be more mature, my friend. You know me, and I know you. Remember that phrase?
Yes.
You know me, I know you. Be more responsible. Be more responsible with your commentary.
Thank you very much. And I'm saying under this crime minister, and he's minister responsible for crime, and under this crime minister, I'm saying there were 59 murders. However you want to interpret that, it is fact, right? When he got into office, there were 2 murders. And at the end of the year, there were 8 or 10. So 10 under him. And he dismantled. And he must take responsibility because he dismantled the peace program. He told a lie about the peace program using money for guns, or the participants using money for guns. And he's paying the same participants. So what are you talking about? He is dishonest. He's a compulsive liar. You ask the Prime Minister when he next comes on radio, how many persons are on the Elevate program, and ask him if they are paid and how much money are they paid, and ask him if the money that they are being paid, they are using or buying guns from them. So no, on Straight Talk, we talk the facts. We're not going to sugarcoat nothing so whatsoever. So if you want to promote extrajudicial killing, then you go to El Salvador. Don't say in St. Kitts. In St. Kitts, we have a civilized society. When the peace program was introduced, I asked one question. Because I was part of the collective, and I asked the question about the elephant in the room. When I asked what is the elephant in the room, I said the guns. And they said that were phase 2. But you can't tell me that with the peace program introduced and moving the murders down, where people can go here, there, and everywhere, it wasn't a good thing. What El Salvador are you talking about? But yes, on Straight Talk, you have a voice, so we will listen to you, and we respect what you say, but we don't necessarily have to accept what you say. Good night, Patches. Read this email. The lady from Social Security who is going around as the face and spokesperson of the reform needs to explain to the pensioners why she allegedly requested and accepted a loan from the Social Security a few years ago to purchase land and property at Douglas Estate. These matters, along with several others, are crucial in determining the way forward with respect to the reform proposal. More details on this matter will be reported to the public shortly with receipts. Why should Social Security be giving their staff loans when the pensioners continue to suffer and are being asked to take their pension at 65 or 67? Reads this email. Dwyer, you are a real joker and a puppy show, reads this email. Pick the beam out of your own eye and you would clearly see the more in Harris's eyes. Tell us, Dwyer, why you went to Antigua. I should have read this before, so I'll probably skip this one. Patches, I think that all the opposition parties should come together and organize a protest march on the 2nd anniversary of July worthless government. Let us all go out and show our disgust and dissatisfaction with this bunch of greedy vagabonds in Church Street. That would send a good message to them and let them know we have had enough of them. People, let's come together on July's 2nd anniversary and let him and the band of selfish, greedy, worthless vagabonds know that we have had enough of them. Let's save our country, reads this email. And for those who may have just joined me again, I was going to say earlier, our thesis we titled tonight, Desperate Call for National Consultation After 59 Murders. And I made the point, my Straight Talk family, that as a country, when you listen to the nonsense peddled by Crime Minister July, how can any right-thinking person be part of any consultation led by this clueless leader? One participant from the peace program did not mince his words with the Crime Minister July. And this caller, yes, from Newtown, I know him. He probably doesn't like the word Crime Minister, but it is facts. He is the minister with responsibility for crime. So, in my view, he is the crime minister. He is the crime minister. So what are you trying to say or not to say? Because what happens, my Straight Dog family, is this. What happens is this in terms of the Peace Boy reaction. He said this.
I want to ask July something. So people are there thinking before the peace program. How much used to dead a year before the peace program and the labor? Why do you come like these are guns? How much people used to dead as sing kids before the peace program a year? The peace program come and the peace program lessen it. I come back here now and the same bullshit start again. People start to drop like flies by blaming the peace program. I don't tell you, real killers don't join the peace program. I need to teach July some sense.
But my Straight Dog family, I made the point from the onset that the recent spate of murders has ignited a call from our incompetent leader for a national consultation on crime. And he is employing a failed strategy that was tried 16 years ago, my Straight Dog family, and that uncovered no real solutions to the problem that exists. My Straight Dog family, the Douglas Labour administration back then sought the help of the FBI and later hired a gang specialist. I told you about this as well, my Straight Talk family.
We arranged for a gang crime specialist to serve as an advisor to the Ministry of National Security. Not to mention as well the important national consultation that we held on crime, and from which gang-related criminal activity was the main concern.
And my Straight Talk family, it was the Harris-led administration which created the program. And he reminded us of this.
We created alternative life pathway programs for at-risk individuals, providing them opportunities and support to pursue their responsibility for a better and safer future. The Peace Program, though new and imperfect, worked and delivered unprecedented peace and tranquility across all communities. Without peace in any society, there will be no progress.
No progress without peace. Caller, thank you for holding you alive.
Yes, Patches. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry for holding you.
That's okay, man. That's okay. We're going in the volcano together.
Mm-hmm.
Patches, you see why parents got to be careful when they want to correct the children. They got to say the right thing to the children. Because since our good friend gave advice to those who committed the crime already and those who have intention to go and do it, somebody who put down one of my great nephew up in Springfield Cemetery and they paralyzed somebody else in constituency number 3 with a gun. They fly the country last week. So when people going to give advice to people, they must give them the right thing that God expects us to give. Don't come and tell anybody, if you know you have committed a murder, borrow some money, buy a ticket and leave the country. And that's what he do. He put me great nephew up in Springfield 11 o'clock in the morning in the street there in front of the infirmary. So therefore people, when people hear people speaking sense and truth, they should not condemn it. They should applaud it. Now you see that bonus, that kind of bonus, not bonus, the pension that was paid last week to people. Why didn't all of them be paid down in the street under the tent? Why he had to call some inside the building upstairs privately? Because he want to take pictures and hear what they have to say about team unity.
The Peace Program
That payment was there from since in the 80s. But that should have been blown out the pipeline already and given to the people. But when you see people like to procrastinate, it does bring destruction and confusion. And he want to take credit. Well, he paid it. Well, thank God the people get what they were supposed to get. And I hope that others, whether you're out or you're in, or when you get in and you ain't get in, or whatever it is, do what is to be done today. Do not wait till tomorrow. God, if he know God, the creator who made us, he would have a lot of problem when he come back to the earth to judge. But he knows it, so he wouldn't got no problem with a lot of us who can do any wrong. Patrick, thank you. Have a good night. I'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you. Have a good night as well. Thank you for your intervention. And don't forget the Explorers program as well, the focus on the youth.
While the Explorers program focus on adolescents and primary school children in particular, it kept our youth safe, inculcated in them respect and love, and helped them recognize the importance of a safe community and their important role in keeping our communities, their communities safe. Committed police officers and our civic-minded individuals were prominent in the implementation of these programs, serving as role models and father figures, fostering a solid positive bond between civilians and law enforcement.
My Straight Talk family, the Crime Minister informed that he directed the Ministry of National Security to put together, these are my words, a national consultation. And it's the same old labor strategy, and it will fail because the public consultation will not pave the way for reconciliation, truth, and crime reduction. So it is understandable to feel skeptical about any national consultation on crime because the past efforts seemed more like a political theater and no substantive action. My Straight Talk family, it's 9:48. For those of you who may have just joined me and joining me for the first time, Straight Talk is heard every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 in the PM. And we entertain your calls and we entertain your emails. And this email reads, I am very confused with what is going on in St. Kitts because it would appear as though we are living in fear. I wonder what is happening in all the government offices because I hate to go into the post office as it is filled with mold. It can even be seen in the public area. It is so scary that if we continue to go to these molded offices, our lives are in danger. I am of the impression, beg your pardon, that all government offices are filled with mold and it is kept under cover. When it was discovered that the courthouse had mold, it was suggested that the courthouse be closed for 1 month to get rid of the mold, and it is ignored. And eventually, they closed because they did not want to pay the amount asked for to have the mold taken care of. And now they are paying $120,000 to rent buildings at Fort Lands for a month. And it did not cost that much to have the mold taken care of at the courthouse. I can tell you of 4 other buildings with mold and should be taken care of, but they are going to wait until they have to close down the buildings. I am scared to go to the post office, and for this reason I have discontinued going to the post office. I am scared stiff. I have 3 friends working in the post office, and they have medical problems. And I can remember so many years ago when the news broke about the mold in the post office, and these 3 staff members took sick. The PS visited the post office and asked if they do not have mold in their home. But then, Patches, you were Minister of Post Office then. I'm angry because I would hate to know I lose my ex-co-workers dying from mold. Come on, please do something before it gets worse. An ex-concerned co-worker, my Straight Talk family. According to you and Timo, Mark brought Martinez to the Federation. Why weren't he vetted by the Ministry of National Security, a ministry headed by no other than Timothy Harris? The people would like to know why Timmy and his ministry reads this email. Good night, Patches. Can Dr. Drew explain to the nation what was the cause of the high number of murders in 36? High number of murders, 36 in 2009. Remember, there was no peace program then. When it was introduced under unity, it was reduced. Labour is again in office and the number has increased. Good night. So who is he blaming? Patches reads this email. Tell the lady she's dead wrong. The Prime Minister is the Commander-in-Chief. He is in charge of law enforcement. In the US, the President is in charge of the justice system. That's why he has the Attorney General, but the Prime Minister is still in charge. Reads this email. Good night, Patches. I listened to Sam Condon on Freedom last Friday. He offered sympathy to the nurse John's family and the lady Marilyn Rogers, who was his campaign manager. No mention or condolences was made to Sandra Roberts' family. I was stunned that Sandra's daughter is the niece of his wife. What a shame, reads this email. At 7 before the 10 o'clock hour, my Straight Dog family, let's just recap our discussion for tonight. And for those, again, or for this particular gentleman who seem to want to sugarcoat things, the Prime Minister, Terence Michael July, is also the crime minister, meaning that he is the minister with responsibility for crime. Don't you say health minister? Don't you say public works minister? But he is the minister responsible for crime, so he is the crime minister. He's also the health minister. He's also the prime minister. You have the foreign affairs minister. So what are you getting up in arms about? The fact. On Straight Talk, we lean on the facts. And the facts are the prevalence of murders have become so widespread across all communities in St. Kitts Nevis. And we spoke of the latest heinous one, a woman who's always full of life, but who suffered an unnatural death that rocked the Federation last Tuesday night. And let me be clear, Straight Talk is not advocating that we should turn a blind eye for anyone who commits a crime. Anyone who commits a crime and transgresses the law ought to be taken before the courts. So we're not turning a blind eye to that. But my Straight Dog family, Dr. July's administration has failed to guarantee the safety and security of our federation. That's why we elected them, so they can make us safe. He talked about increasing the budgets for national security. He is the minister with the constitutional authority, the constitutional mandate to generally supervise and manage every department, even the police department that has a commissioner of police. He has general authority over the commissioner of police. I'm not saying he must interfere, but how do you interpret general management and control? You know, my Straight Dog family, it saddened me when I heard the crime minister, and I want to be clear again, Terence Michael Drew is also the health minister. Means he's responsible for health. But if you have no problem with me referring to him as the health minister, How on earth you have a problem with me referring to him as the crime minister? He's responsible for crime. So we can't accurately state that he is the crime minister, but he's also the prime minister. But each time he makes a national address, he's introduced with the singing of the playing of our national anthem. And the same goes for the end. In the first and second verses of our national anthem, we sing lustily, "For God in all our struggles, St. Kitts and Nevis be." We also sing, "No sword nor spear can conquer, for God will sure defend." So our national symbol, the anthem, invokes the name of God. Your God, my God, our God. Yet our Prime Minister Terence Michael July could stand before the nation and speak such nonsense about tried and tested alternative lifestyle program or peace program, when he will talk nonsense about this, my Straight Dog family. How can he say such nonsense like this?
We have a serious gun problem in our society. This societal ill reflected throughout the region has been serious for us for at least 2 decades now. But it has worsened because of the introduction of money into the equation. Not only do the gangs have numerous members, but because of the ill-advised peace program, they have significant amounts of money used to buy influence and dangerous sophisticated weapons which are used to carry out heinous acts. That is why the focus in our National Security Council meeting earlier today was suppression. Suppression in preventing the inception of crime or preventing expansion of criminal activity.
My Straight Talk family, our Crime Minister July moved very early to dismantle the peace program, and we are seeing the results of his ill-advised actions today. In 1 week short of 2 years under July, the Federation has recorded 59 murders. 59 murders under July as the Crime Minister, also referred to as the Minister of National Security. July is a Muslim, I heard. But didn't he learn that blessed are the peacemakers because they will be called sons of God? Yes, my Straight Dog family. That's what we learned. So how could he dismantle the peace program, my Straight Dog family? How could he? The structured initiative started officially in 2019. As bad as things may have seemed, Team Unity leaders must be applauded for recognizing that this is the only St. Kitts and Nevis that we have. And if we are going to be true to our country, ourselves, our children, and generations to come, then we must be peacemakers. With peace in mind, our third Prime Minister created the Alternative Lifestyle Program. He supported it. He led the way, my Straight Dog family. And no one can dispute that. A successful program it was.
We created alternative life pathway programs for at-risk individuals, providing them opportunities and support to pursue their responsibility for a better and safer future. The peace program, though new and imperfect, worked and delivered unprecedented peace and tranquility across all communities. Without peace in any society, there will be no progress.
No peace, no progress. With peace in mind, my Straight Dog family, the increase introduced that program. Growing up, we learned that peace in the Bible is always based on justice and righteousness. Where justice prevails and righteousness rules, there you will also have peace. But without those two virtues, lasting peace is not possible. And that is the problem we face with our current leaders in government. Caller, you are live.
20 seconds. 20 seconds, Patches.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, we'll make 2 years since you take that office. And from the inception of India, he has no plan. Up to now, he has no plan. And then he is so loyal that ignorance is dictating his mind. And he must stop leading people wrong. He must stop it. He said that for the people that were taking the $500 to buy guns and ammunition. $500 cannot even buy a bent-cut catapult, never mind a board gun, pellets, never mind a Tech-9 or whatever they're using. He must stop mislead people. For politics, you're doing them stupidness. Boy, done with that. You're a big man. You're a leader of a country. Perform that people could respect you. If you don't respect yourself, nobody gonna respect you. It doesn't matter who you are. When it comes to anybody doing anything wrong in the public domain that is visible to anybody, I can talk. But if you're doing something in your own home, that is not my business. Thank you, Patrick, I get it out. People look out for double salary. He said the country is in a red. And he's doing all kind of things to see if he could bribe and pull over people to vote for him. Election around the corner. Thank you, Patches.
Thank you very much. We have many privileged, self-righteous people in our society who cast themselves as heroes of their own story. Many men and women as children once exposed to an environment of deprivation. They develop coping mechanisms to survive, and yes, after a while, these mechanisms become a way of life. Bad choices, yes, selfish choices, and otherwise antisocial behavior. These are the symptoms, not the cause. As long as we continue to misdiagnose the ailment, we will get nowhere. Also, we focus on the men because they are killing. But the young girls who grow up in equally deprived situations experience and cause just as much havoc in our society. Like a cancer, they quietly eat away at the very fabric of society, and we never see it until it's too late. But yes, July promised when he got into office in his independence speech that he will reduce crime. He will reduce the murder rate to single digits. That was his commitment. And we hold him responsible for not ensuring that the policies are in place and the plans are in place in order that they can facilitate the reduction in these murders.
The minister with responsibility for crime has presented no effective plan. Our minister responsible for crime engendered no goodwill in his speech. Indeed, many have said that his speech was not coherent and it was laced with malicious untruths and a lack of transparency. He cannot in one breath say untruthfully that the participants in the peace program use money to arm themselves, and while his administration continues to pay them and has no organized program for these participants.
Dishonest. Totally dishonest. Coming and telling us that under the peace program, the participants use their money to buy guns. But he has over 450 of these participants on the LIFT program, once called Peace. And they are paid the same monies. Are they buying guns, Dr. July? So when you listen to the nonsense peddled by the Crime Minister July, how can any right-thinking person be part of any consultation led by this clueless leader? The Crime Minister is morally unprincipled, or a morally unprincipled person who constantly lies to the people of this country. When one considers the deep division that the Crime Minister has created in the country, along with the total disrespect he has shown for the poor people and the at-risk youth, my Straight Talk family, Prime Minister or third Prime Minister could not have said it better than this.
He has disrespected the participants on the peace program, yet they are the key players in any resolution of the dangerous crime situation in our country. When will he learn that you cannot reprobate and appropriate at the same time?
How can you approbate and reprobate at the same time? Learn the doctrine of approbate and reprobate, and stop blowing hot and cold in taking a stance on so many issues, and crime is no exception. Dr. July, as our leader, must get familiar, as I did, with the Latin maxim of fundamental principle, quod approbo non probobo, reprobo, which simply means, that which I approve, I cannot disapprove. No one can praise and criticize at the same time. We have done some reflection tonight, my Straight Talk family. Every one of us must therefore be skeptical about this proposed national consultation on crime, especially because past efforts under a Labour government seem more like political theatre rather than substantive action. Limiting any consultation to crime alone will overlook other critical areas that impact the socio-economic fabric and governance of this country. For that reason, there must be an expanded approach to national consultations, incorporating discussions on justice reform, our citizenship by investment program, and overseas voter participation in our elections. Firstly, justice reform is essential for enhancing the effectiveness and fairness of the legal system. The word on the street is a juror got shot. Everybody is tight-lipped on that. Why is it such a secret? Is it true that the criminal assizes were suspended? These matters should not be secret, my Straight Talk family. Secondly, our citizenship by investment program has become a significant aspect of the nation's economic strategy. We know concerns about its impact on national identity and social cohesion have also been raised. Issues on matters of security have been raised by the US, Canada, the UK, and the EU. But the lack of transparency surrounding our CBI program must be addressed. It is troubling that the Attorney General, as I said before, calls a program or project a scam. Then he went to the court to try to block disclosure. Block disclosure on the same program. My Straight Talk family, that is bad. That is unacceptable, my Straight Talk family. That what the Attorney General tried to do. trust my Straight Talk family, you've heard that soundbite. I'm not hearing it in my own headsets. But my Straight Talk family, by broadening consultations to include this topic on CBI, stakeholders can, my Straight Talk family, stakeholders can explore the balance between economic benefits and potential risks, ensuring the program aligns with the nation's long-term interests. Lastly, overseas voter participation is a growing issue that needs to be given greater attention in St. Kitts Nevis. Many citizens residing abroad and the method of engaging with our local political processes raises questions. These questions ought to be addressed by expanding national consultations to focus on the needs and rights of overseas voters in order to enhance democratic participation and representation, while ensuring that the voices of all citizens are heard regardless of their location. Dr. July, you told us about the citizens, over 50,000 of them have our passports, economic citizens. The population in St. Kitts is just over 50,000. And Straight Talk is reliably informed, though the last census figures for some unknown reasons have not been released. But how many of us are aware that 51,000 persons are registered on the voters list? Something must be wrong, don't you think? In conclusion, my Straight Talk family, in conclusion, broadening the scope of national consultations in St. Kitts Nevis to include justice, citizenship by investment, and overseas voter participation is crucial for fostering a more inclusive and effective governance framework. We need to push for transparent processes, clear communication and accountability measures, ensuring that there are robust systems for evaluating and responding to crime and involving community input can help to restore confidence in how issues are being tackled. Such an approach not only addresses immediate concerns, but also strengthens the nation's democratic and social institutions in the long run. And my quote for tonight from that good lady is so appropriate to end with. It says, leadership is about taking responsibility, not making excuses. Leadership is about taking responsibility and not making excuses. Not a desperate call for national consultation after 59 murders. That's my story tonight, and I'm not going to change it. But I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight as always. I want to thank all you listeners, all you who made calls, those who sent emails. Remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liber, and God's spare, we will connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until then, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you've got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on until we connect on Thursday. Bye-bye.
When I wake in the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's my knees. To the Lord I kneel and pray. With my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day. My guardian to keep and my guide. Over every step I take, He will preside. So whatever my mind conceives that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. My way with strength and courage from above. No man I'll fear, since God protects me with His love. Strong, pure and true, and so sincere, 'cause my knees I'll always stay to the Lord in prayer. So whatever my mind conceives that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, I gotta reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.